Welcome members, this is Brandon Judd responding to a video analysis request today uploaded by user fbeltrao. In Felipe's description down here, he says that he's trying the tantrum but can't pass the second wake and is not getting good tripping pop. Please help. Alright Felipe, so we're gonna, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name here right, but hopefully we can help you get over those two issues that you mentioned in the description, and those two issues you mentioned were spot on. It's very common problems to have, and it is exactly what you're having a hard time doing. So we're going to help you come up with a couple ways to overcome those issues and get this tantrum to be really consistent. So the first thing is you mentioned that you're not going wake to wake. Now that is because when you switch edges to pop at the wake on a tantrum slows you down at the wake. So you need to compensate for that. You need to, when you start edging in, you need to edge in a little harder, a little more aggressively, and then wait until you start slowing down to trip the board and switch edges. So that's going to be really important. I know you're almost making it wake to wake right now, but as soon as you start fixing your pop, your tripping pop at the wake, it's going to slow you down even more. That's kind of the funky thing about a tantrum is oftentimes the better you trip it and pop it, the more it'll slow you down. So you have to get a little more aggressive on your approach. That one's way easier to fix than the popping issue. So just edge in harder and you'll be fine. As far as the tripping the board at the wake and getting the right pop, the issue you have is also very common with this, but the fix is hard to trust yourself and hard to do mentally. So we're going to go over that. And the issue is that you're not squaring up enough at the wake. So you're coming in, and I can see your chest almost the whole way through this. You got two hands on the handle still, two hands on the handle. You're just now starting to let go, and you're already just about, your front foot's over the top of the wake already. And I can still see all of your chest, your back arm really well. You're essentially facing us. And you're still facing us. And then right here, if you look at your legs, you're buckling at the knees. And you're still facing us. So the direction you're going to flip right now is you're going to flip with your board away. Your board's going to go toward the boat and then away from the boat, which is a funky flipping direction. And then you're going to lose most of your pop because you're bending your knees already. You should be standing as tall as possible right here. And then you should take your shoulders and get it more in line with the rope so that we only see your side. We don't see as much of your chest. Like this yellow and orange patch, I shouldn't really be able to see at this point. So let me give you an example of a tantrum by Kyle Schmidt. And his tantrum, he edges in with a little more intensity than you do, and then he squares up really well and has a really good example of standing tall. So I just want you to see how this is here. So he edges in, and then he switch edges quickly, and it's at the just barely after the flats where he's starting to get to the bottom of the wake. His hand is already off the handle. So your hand didn't come off the handle until your front foot was over top of the wake. So that's something to be aware of. Is we want to. This is where you start squaring up, is with the handle. You'll take that hand off first before you get square. So that's a good symptom to say, you know, he's squaring up in time. And then look how tall he's getting here. And then at this point, his shoulders are much more in line with the rope. And his back leg, you'll see his board's still in the water and his back leg is getting fully extended here. And I wouldn't be able to see that yellow and orange part of your vest if Kyle were wearing it. His shoulders, I'm really just looking square at his side right now. And that means that his board is lined up properly. And then he's going to be flipping where the board goes this direction. It'll go that way when he goes up. So he's going to go up, and his upper body is going to lead the flip behind him, and the board is going to go this direction. Whereas if he were to face me, the board would just come straight at the boat, and his upper body would fall away from the boat, and it would just be a funky flipping rotation. You should flip right around the handle as if, I was to skewer Kyle directly through his shoulders. He'll be flipping in around that axis. So if we go back to yours here and look at the differences, I can't really have you rotate around the rope like around that skewer because of the direction you're facing. Instead, you're going to be flipping in a weird direction away from the boat, which is going to give you some funky line tension. And then your knee is bent more than 90 degrees, which means you're going to be absorbing all of the pressure that the wake is putting against the bottom of the board. That's going to kill your pop and make you kind of flip out of control and really low here, making it really difficult to land. And then in Kyle's, you'll watch what happens. He'll go straight up, nice and comfortable, and you'll see how high he got in comparison to yours. And then he's able to land really comfortably, dropping out of it. So that's the two things that we need to have adjusted. Is we need you squaring up more at the wake, and then we need you to stand taller. So you should get that shoulder in line with the rope more, to where you're almost facing this shore here, and then stand really tall, push all the bend out of your legs, and you'll go up and then flip, instead of right now the wake is sort of forcing you into a really low, really fast flip. Once we get it right, it'll look more like this guy. You'll be able to come in, square up, and stand really tall, and the wake will do the rest of the work for you. And then landing, it's a breeze once you get that pop right. That's about it. If you have any other questions, feel free to hit us up down here in the comment section below, or you can just simply upload another video of you trying it, and we'll work out the kinks on that one. But I think you're on the right track. Again, once you get the pop right, remember it's going to slow you down even more. So just come in with a little more intensity, wait, switch edges later, and then fix that body position at the wake, and you should be good to go. Thanks again.